Welcome. So glad you could join us on another adventure with Dr. Phil. Yeah, I'm not a real doctor. My friends just call me that. But that's a whole nother story for another time. Well, speaking of stories, are you ready for a story today? We're continuing on our adventure and helping us understand who God is. Who is it that God is? Well, today we're going to think about this idea that God is wisdom. God is wisdom. That's a really big word, and we use it a lot, but do we really know what it means according to what the Bible says? So to help us understand this idea of wisdom, God's wisdom, that God is wisdom, we want to think of three words: knowing, showing, and going. Knowing, showing, and going. And to help us with that, we're going to hear a story that Jesus told his students when they were all gathered together on this kind of grassy, elevated type of hill. A mount, so to speak, a little mountain. Not a big mountain like the Rockies, but a little elevated patch of grass. And Jesus was teaching his students all about talking with God the Father, praying, how they should interact with other people, the things that they should be doing, really more importantly, the way their hearts should be thinking. Thinking with your heart? Yes, absolutely. That's how we think in our heart. So Jesus was telling at the end of his lesson, he was telling a story about skills, storms, and safety. Skills, storms, and safety. Yes, that story is brought to you by the letter S. Well, Jesus said that one day that there were two builders. There was a builder that built a house. He carefully looked at different pieces of property, and he said that there was a wise builder that chose a piece of property that was very firm, very rocky, very strong, very sturdy. And as this builder made the right choices in knowing how to build a house, knowing what kind of foundation the house, what kind of base the house should sit on, he was going to show people that he was wise. You see, that's what wisdom is about. It's about knowing and then showing that you know. Remember this, that, knowledge comes from Google, but wisdom, that comes from God. So this wise builder made the right choice in not only the materials, but he made the right choice in where to put the house. He wanted to make sure that it was on a firm foundation, because you see, there was some storms that came up for the skillful builder, and the rains came and the winds blew and howled against the house, and the house was rocking back and forth, but it stood firm. It was safe. Well, Jesus says that builder, he was very wise. He had the skills, and not only to know, but also to show that he was going the right way. Well, Jesus said that there was also another builder. He was, well, he was empty-headed. He was foolish. You see, he made the choice in similar material, but his foundation, the base of his house, well, he chose sandy soil. And maybe there was a view of the water, beautiful view, but sand on which to build the house. Well, the builder knew what to do, but he did not show what to do. So the winds came and the rains pelted down and the howling storm, the fierceness, oh, it was just as great. And the house, Jesus said, went flat. It fell down because the foundation was not strong. You see, Jesus says that the wise person knows what God has said, building their life on the firm things, the things that will not be shaken. The wise person knows, and he shows that he has skill, that he is not just making it up as he goes along and trying to figure things out on his own, but he is doing the things, he is going by showing the knowing. You see how all that works? That's what the Bible means by wisdom. Wisdom. Well, our friend Paul talks about this idea of wisdom as well. And he has some great words for us in 1 Corinthians. Listen to what Paul says. He says, credit God with your new situation. New situation, yes. No longer empty-headed or foolish, but wise, because you know the way to go and you want to show people that you are forever friends with Jesus. That's the new situation. Credit God with your new situation. You are united with Jesus the Anointed. United, brought together with Jesus the Anointed. He is God's wisdom for us. And he is much more. He is God's wisdom. He is our righteousness, our holiness. Remember, that's being set apart. And our redemption, being bought back. Isn't that tremendous words for us? Jesus uniting us, bringing us together. Jesus doing for us that which we could not do for ourselves. Jesus dying on the cross for our sin by being put to death on a cross, because Jesus was the perfect sacrifice. He is holy. He is separate. He is not like anyone else. Jesus doing for us that which we could never, ever do for ourselves. Jesus being our wisdom, that showing and going the way that he would have us go. So God's wisdom is knowing the way to go, making the right choices, knowing what God has said. It's also showing that we know. It's not enough just to know, but it's important that we show it, that we let others know that we are forever friends with Jesus. The knowing, the showing, and the going. That when the going gets difficult, gets hard, we can go the way that Jesus would have us go. Make the decisions that God would have us make, because we are knowing and showing in the going. God has much to say, and we, my friends, well, we really have much to hear. But God is wisdom. God is knowing, God is showing, and God is in the going. Where are you? Jesus told about two builders. They both had skills. They both encountered storms, but really only one was kept safe. Well, how about you, my friend? Are you safe? Are you safe in the storms? The storms will cause you to get wet and cause you to be unsettled, but you can stand firm. You can stand firm because of what God has said, knowing what God has said and showing others that your trust is in God and going the way that He would have you go. Because Jesus Christ is wisdom. He is the wisdom of God. He is the one who knows what the Father wants. He shows what the Father's desires are. And He was going on the path that the Father had for Him. Jesus is wisdom. And by doing for us what we could never do for ourselves, dying on a cross, being buried in a tomb, but rising again on the third day, Jesus showing us that God is wisdom. Well, how about you? Do you know that Jesus is wisdom? Because Jesus is God. Are you safe? Do you have skills? I'm sure you do. Do you know what God has for you? Do you know what God has said about the ways you should go? I sure hope so. Well, that's our word for today. God is wisdom. It's in the knowing, it's in the showing, and it's certainly in the going. So, what kind of builder are you? Are you a wise builder? Or are you a foolish, empty-headed builder? Trust that you are a wise builder and that you know and want to show how others and yourself need to go. Well, thanks for joining us on this adventure. I hope that you'll be with us next time. Bye for now.